Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox. I would like to welcome you to the Sunday Book Review. The Sunday Book Review is the series where I discuss books which impact the compliance practitioner, the legal professional, and the business professional. I hope you will enjoy this episode. Welcome to the Sunday Book Review for March 14, 2021. Over the next 2 weeks, we're going to take a look at William Faulkner. Today, we're going to take a look at 3 books about Faulkner, which have been recently published. And next week, we'll take a look at 4 of my favorite books. The 3 books are The Life of William Faulkner, The Past is Never Dead, 1897 to 1934 by Carl Rollison. The Life of William Faulkner, The Alarming Paradox, 1935 to 1962, also by Carl Rollison. And then Faulkner, The Saddest Words, Faulkner's Civil War by Michael Gora. There have always been 3 Faulkners. These include the modernist Faulkner, who is an experimentalist respected by international filmmakers such as Jean-Luc Godard and writers like Gabriel Garcia Marquez and Edouard Glissant, who admires lush, long sentences, accumulating modifiers, and self-correcting syntax. Indeed, Jean-Paul Sartre said, Faulkner, c'est un dieu. Then there's humanistic Faulkner, who declared while accepting the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1950 that we possess a spirit capable of compassion and sacrifice and endurance, and that we will not and cannot perish because of that spirit, and that the writer's duty is to write about these things. Critics compared him to Balzac as he created human comedy out of the hamlets and backwoods of Mississippi, the American who absorbed John Donne and Dickens, as well as Cervantes and Conrad, as well as the Bible. With Faulkner, the picture is everything, Edmund Wilson said. However, there's also the compromised and morally suspect Faulkner, who in 1956 announced he was opposed to compulsory integration as he had been to compulsory segregation. The occasion was an attempt by Autherine Lucy, a black woman, to enroll in the University of Alabama. Riots broke out, and she was asked to leave the school and later expelled. Faulkner said on the matter of integration he would advise the NAACP, which had taken up Lucy's cause, to go slow, man. As he further explained to one reporter, as long as there is a middle road, all right, I'll be on it. But if troops were sent to the South to integrate schools and it came to fighting, I'd fight for Mississippi against the United States, even if it meant going out into streets to shooting Negroes. So Faulkner really, for me, symbolizes the inherent contradiction of many in the South. It was not all racist, although that was the majority, certainly for the longest time. But you had some great men of letters who wrote about the invidiousness of Jim Crow and how, after the Civil War, the promises brought by the Lincoln administration and brought forward into Reconstruction died a slow and ignominious death over the years. How the Plessy versus Ferguson decision institutionalized racism in the South and indeed across the United States with its separate but equal doctrine, and how the lynchings of the first 50 years or 40 years of the 20th century were a blight upon all legal process in the South. But there you have it, the contradictions that are the South and that are William Faulkner. Next week, we'll take a look at 3 or 4 of my favorite Faulkner books, which everyone should read. We have several new podcasts on the Compliance Podcast Network I would urge you to check out. We have Head to Head by Cordery Compliance, which premiered this past week. Also, this month on The Compliance Life, we have Rob Chestnut, former CCO at Airbnb, who's written a great book called Intentional Integrity. We have the Ethics and Compliance Library, a Conversant podcast hosted by Lauren Siegel, as well as Comtech, a podcast on the intersection of compliance and technology, Big Brains in Compliance. And finally, we have the Compliance Handbook, where I take a deep dive exploration into topics related to the nuts and bolts of compliance. Thanks so much for listening.